Here's the second lesson of this section, how a computer works. As you can see in this image, there are various hardware devices such as CPU, RAM, ROM, storage devices, motherboard, controllers, physical devices. All these hardware devices work togetherly to execute a code. Now, how do we instruct the hardware? Let us learn in this lesson. In this lesson, we would be learning what is a programming language, types of low-level languages, and types of high-level languages. How do we communicate with computer? Obviously, a computer cannot understand any commands that we may give in English or in any other language. Computer has its own set of instructions for communication. These are what we simply call as computer languages. They are broadly divided into two categories: high-level language and low-level language. Let us start our discussion with what are low-level languages. A low-level language is easily understandable by the machine. The main function of the low-level language is to interact with the hardware of the computer. This is the only language which a hardware understands. They help in operating, syncing, and managing all the hardware and system components togetherly. This low-level language are further classified in two types: machine language and assembly language. Now, what is machine language? Have a look at this code. It comprises of ones and zeros only. What does this indicate? This code just means a simple executable statement, that is z is equal to x plus y. Machine language is considered as one of the most basic low-level language. This language was first developed to interact with the first generation computer. And yes, of course, it is written in a binary code, that is ones and zeros only. Isn't that strange? Now comes the assembly language. Assembly language is considered as a second generation programming language. Here, instead of using ones and zeros, some numbers, English words, names, and some symbols are used. Here's an example. The group of alphabets here represent the registers located in memory. When assembler and linker combinedly works on this assembly language, it converts into machine language. So the programmer writes the code in assembly language, then assembler and linker works on it to convert it into machine language, which is then understood by the processor. The second type of computer language is a high-level language. High-level language are nothing but, we call them as programming language, because programmer preferably write code in this language. Some prominent examples are Pascal, Fortran, C, C++, Java, Python, Swift, Ruby, and so on. One important feature of high-level language is that they allow programmer to write programs for all types of computers and systems. Every instruction in high-level language gets converted to machine language for the computer to comprehend. Let's have a quick recap. As we know, hardware understands only machine language, but the programmer writes the code in high-level language. So the high-level language gets converted to low-level machine language with the help of assembler and linker, which is then understood by the hardware. In the next coming lesson, that is language processing system, we would be learning what is a language processing system and what are the various tools involved in execution of code.